7 FM. This morning we're joined by the president of the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association. He's right here in studio with us here on the Super Morning Show, Awal Sakib Mohammed. Good morning.
Good morning, Winston.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm fine. You enjoyed the Salah very well.
Yeah, I did. I did. Yeah.
Great to know. So, before we get into everything about, your concerns with charges and all of that, tell us a bit about the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association.
So, Ghana Electrical Contractors Association was established in 1948 to serve as a focal point for meeting of licensed electrical contractors and practitioners for the purpose of promoting safety and quality in the electrical construction space. We also promote and maintain a good rapport between our members and the public. We're a nationwide association. Over the period of our existence, we've helped promote, or we've played key role in implementation of several policies, including the LI 1816. We have representation at various state agencies, including the Ghana Standards Authority, where we have a member on the technical committee. We have a member on the Ministry of Trade. Now they call it Be Ready. It used to be Ease of Doing Business.
Okay.
So we have a member on the Be Ready committee. We actually have a representation on Ministry of Energy's Advisory Board, which happens to be my good self, and then so many other organizations. So basically, we promote and safeguard the interests of electrical contractors and the public.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are your concerns with, the ECG charges on rechargeable job?
Now, if today you apply for what we call a service connection, there are different categories of premises. A premises for which the sheer size of its load, require a substation, a primary substation, or what they call a dedicated substation, or your premises, for instance, I'm sure you have your own substation. If you have a premises that require a certain level of quality of power or reliability of power, then you need your own substation. Now, what happens is that when you apply for such service, ECG will visit your premises, do their own assessment, and then give you a bill. Now, in that assessment today, what happens is even before ECG leaves their premises, they'll make sure you pay a 10,000 Ghana cedis unrefundable before they come to your premises. And when they have come and done all the assessment, which will lead them to developing drawing and quotations and all that, now they will go and prepare an estimate. So then you are likely to pay the estimate less the 10,000 that you have paid. What we have realized, that 10,000 is making it difficult for people to even to apply for power. Now, you remember, it is only businesses and some serious commercial edifices that require transformers. So if you come, before you even come to assess my premises, you are requiring me to pay this amount of money, for which if I don't have, it means it's going to delay my plan in commissioning and all that. So now when they have prepared all the estimate, what we've realized is that there are some components of the charges where they call it preliminaries, which normally the 10,000 is captured under. And they also have what they call contingency. Our concern is that you are engineers. The kind of services ECG provides, it is not too complicated. If I come to your premises, I should be able to tell what size of transformer you need. A transformer is a transformer. It doesn't come with any complicated parts that you say is hidden, and for that matter, you cannot determine whether that part is needed or not. And then an RMU is an RMU. We all know, based on the specs, how much oil the RMU will require. If they are going to lay an underground cable, you can just measure the distance, knowing the cable sizes, and all the other components that are required are physical. And so we ask the question, why charge 10% of the total material cost as contingency? If indeed you know all the components, you know everything that is
Is it your view that charge is too much and that they can actually charge less? What's wrong with, say, we're charging you 10% of the material cost?
Now, the assessment that you do is for you to establish the components or the material that is required. It's only the materials that will create a contingency in our case, or in ECG's case. It's only the material. So all the material you've done, if you have done due diligence, you should not be charging. You see, your premises, I'm sure you will be hitting around 500 kVA or something. A 500 kVA transformer today in the open market is $12,500. You need another equipment to protect such a transformer, which is $11,000. Now the other components come. So you'll be spending close to about 500 to 600,000 Ghana cedis. If someone is charging you 10% of 600,000 Ghana cedis as contingency, and that contingency they don't explain to anybody, I mean contingency after the construction. You should be able to tell the person, we charge you this amount of money for contingency, for this and that reason we didn't use it, and so this is your refund. Or we use part of it, and so this is your refund. But it doesn't happen. So this amount makes the whole service application very expensive. Aside that, they will charge you for labor. And they also charge you 15%, which they call company charges. So in all, you find that there are some over 20 something, almost 30% margin on whatever ECG is charging, that is making the cost of application of dedicated transformer very expensive. We find that to be worrying. We have situations where people have, when you start construction, you get to a point before you apply for power.
Yeah.
And most people, you can actually apply for the power if your substation is outdoor. But many buildings, you have to put up the structure, you have to provide a place for substation and all that before the transformer is erected. So you find that many people just apply for smaller meter for construction, and when they are done, and then they apply for the big meter. Now what happens is people don't have an idea how much they will be charged. ECG visits your premises, they do the assessment, and they tell you that you have to pay this amount of money for us to supply you all the materials, or you not get connected.
Okay.
Now today, the question is, ECG, we are in a liberal environment. Why would ECG, being a public institution, be banning people from buying their own material? It should be possible for me to say that, okay, fine, I have a relationship with a supplier. I mean, your materials, I don't want.
You don't buy your own materials?
I don't buy. Yeah, you don't want to allow you. Even if you do, they will surcharge you for that. So electrical dealers are suffering. People have stock. If you know that, I'm sure you know the electrical industry. It's a mega industry. It requires a lot of investment to stock even 5 transformers in your warehouse. It's not small money.
How long has this been going on?
For about 3 years. It started during Budu's time. We met him. I mean, we couldn't conclude it. And now, since coming into this leadership, we've met them a number of times. They promised to meet us again. And they've been, if I should say, they've been running away from us.
So what do you want ECG to do now?
So what we want is, today, we want the PURC, which is the regulator, to come up with clear-cut policies. This is not the only utility provider in the country. The question is, why isn't NEDCO charging same? NEDCO allows people to buy their own materials. Are you saying that now the excuse ECG engineers will give you is that people buy fake materials? You don't have the authority to determine whether a product is fake or not. It's only Ghana Standards Authority that have been mandated to do so. Are you telling us that the systems that are being installed at NEDCO, we know, even have a better system, except that they have challenges with power quality? If you go to NEDCO, the kind of quality of workmanship you find there is unmatched. Except that the voltages that gets there is poor, and so people find it difficult putting up factories and all that. But so what they do is they will allow you to buy your own materials, and then they charge you very little for connection. So we are asking the question, why do we live in a country where there's no standard as to how much one should be charged for rechargeable jobs? If you apply for service for your house, there's a standard fee which is set by PURC. So ECG and NEDCO, they charge same. So it should be possible for us to also have at least some baseline when it comes to rechargeable jobs. And then ECG should take its hand off material purchases. Their core mandate is to buy and sell power. There's nothing wrong. You do maintenance. So you buy your own materials and use it to do your own maintenance. But to prevent people from procuring their own materials is unacceptable. Now, even the materials, transformer, you can only install a transformer in ECG's network when they have tested it. All the importers, when they bring their transformer, they send them to ECG for them to test and issue them with a test report. But yet still, you prevent people from buying such transformers. I mean, that's double standard. So we are saying that buying of materials, ECG should focus on their core mandate, which is that they have to buy and sell power. They can import their own materials for their maintenance and whatever. But when it comes to private people that want dedicated transformers, it should be possible for people to buy materials from the open market. Their prices are highly inflated. I mean, you sometimes wonder where they get the things from. And one unfortunate thing is that you prevent people from buying with the excuse that the materials in the market are fake. And these are the same people that supply you materials. They imported. They are the same people that you buy from.
So what happens if ECG fails to heed your request?
Now, so we would like to believe that the president, he means well when he spoke about the industrialization of the country. And so we think that maybe this has not come to his attention, even though we petitioned several institutions. We're sure that it has not come to his attention. And we are sure that knowing the little he has done with the 1D, 1F, if it comes to his attention, he will make sure that this thing is addressed. So we have several ways we are dealing with it. This is just one of them. And then we can go as far as going to court to get a relief on, to get a pronouncement on whether some of the charges are actually legal or not. We can even hit the street. So we pray that we don't get there. We know that the leadership of this country, they mean well for the country. And so when we sit around the table, we should be able to find solutions to this thing so that businesses can thrive. People can set up businesses. You know, the government cannot do it alone. You need the private sector. And if the private sector is saddled or has to go through this stress in a normal environment, ECG is the one who's supposed to provide all these services for you and bill you for you to pay. The private, you don't have the capacity, so the private sector is ready to contribute in this case. So why burden them?
All right. So but have you, appealed to the president?
We've appealed to him through the Ministry of Energy. We are yet to get a response. We've appealed to through the Minister of Trade and other state agencies. In the coming day, we are actually going to seek an audience with the president himself. For us, we know that today it's evident that the only institution that ECG respects is the presidency. I tell you. I know somebody will contest it, but the only institution that ECG listens to is the presidency. So we are going to seek an audience with the president and hope that this matter is addressed as soon as possible.
Awal Sakib Mohammed, thank you so much for joining us this morning. He's president of the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association. We wish you all the best in your advocacy. We'll be monitoring, and whenever there's a need to speak to you again, we'll definitely do that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
for having us.
Very much for joining us.